Hi there, my name is Unaib Bashir, and today I'll be talking about what prisoner's dilemma is. The best way for me to explain this is to give you a hypothetical example. So in the hypothetical example, we have two drivers that were in a car accident, Jack and Joe. They were both texting and driving, and they had both ran a stop sign. To figure out who should be held liable, a police officer, as always, comes to the scene, tries to investigate. He asks both the drivers individually what happened. Okay, let's just look at Jack's point of view for a second. Jack can either say he doesn't know what happened, or he can say Joe was texting and driving. In both these cases, the outcome can still be 50-50. It could be beneficial for Jack, or it can't, either way. But it all depends on what Joe responds. So Joe was also asked the same question. She could also reply, she doesn't know, or Jack was texting. This becomes a prisoner's dilemma issue, because not one's response can be based to a certain outcome. Both responses are needed to come out with an outcome. So let's just say there's really 4 possible outcomes. Two benefiting Jack and 2 benefiting Joe. But which one really benefits all of them is really the case. Which one is the best for the group? So we can look at it as if Jack says he doesn't know, and Jill also said she doesn't know what happened, the insurance company will see it as Jack would have to pay for Joe's car's repairs, and Joe would have to pay Jack's car's repair. The insurance company, of course. And the only fallout would be that both their premiums would increase. Now, let's just say Jack says, I don't know, and Joe says Jack was texting. Now, Jack has to pay for his car and Joe's car to be repaired, but the insurance company doesn't pay for it. They say Jack has to pay for it because Jack was texting. So Joe leaves with not having to pay anything, insurance not increasing, while Jack has to pay out of pocket for both. The same way around, if Joe says I don't know and Jack says Joe was texting, same type of scenario happens. Joe has to pay out of pocket, Jack walks away scot-free. But what if both say they were each texting? So if that becomes a case, then both the insurances don't pay for one another or even themselves. So Jack has to pay for himself and Jill has to pay for herself. The worst outcome out of all of this is when both of them say that they both were texting. But how can one know that what is the other one's going to reply? They can't. That's where the prisoner's dilemma comes involved. If one doesn't know how to respond, Jack can say Joe texted, and hopefully Joe says she doesn't know as well, and then they just have to pay a little bit extra premium. This is where both parties kind of win. So the outcome is pretty positive. But now if Jack says he doesn't know and Joe says Jack was texting, poor Jack gets screwed over because he has to pay twice to what he would, for both the people. So, and Joe gets scot-free. So only one person wins and one person loses. So prisoner's dilemma is really like a game of chance, I would say. You don't know the outcome because there's many variables and it's really based on both of them. And it really becomes hard when, self-interest comes involved, because Joe thinking, if I just rat out Jack, might not have to pay anything. But if Jack's also thinking the same thing, then they're both screwed and they both have to pay out of pocket. So, this is what prisoner's dilemma really is. When you have to figure out what's really good from the situation without having the knowledge what other people are thinking and going to do. Alright, so hopefully that explained what prisoner's dilemma was. It's really hard to divide it, but there are ways around it. And we will talk about that in our next chapter, hopefully.